I've been ready to give in to the haters quite a lot.
Wow.
And she's really just brought me back from the brink every time. It's the reason I'm still here in life.
Wow.
Genuinely, is because these people are in my life.
Welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast. This week we're joined by another very special guest. It's someone we've been trying to get on the show for a long time, and now is a great time to do it because they've got a hell of a lot going on, and you'll be able to see why over the course of this chat. Welcome to the show, LA Taylor. LA, thanks so much for being here. How are you doing?
Oh, hi. Yeah, busy.
I was going to say, my opening question was going to be a pretty easy one just to ease us in here, was like, would it be fair to say that 2024 has been a very busy year so far for you as LA Taylor?
Yeah, but kind of snuck up on me. Like there have been months where I've been wrestling like 5-6 times a week, and I have a full-time job outside of this, and I'm just like, how have I survived? Well, I didn't survive. I'm pretty sure I got whooping cough. But the 100-day cough, everyone's enjoying.
I was going to say, we've all had it at some point, haven't we? Everyone's getting something, but you use the adrenaline to push you through.
Exactly. So yeah, it's been strangely flattering and just nice. It's been a great time. It's been a laugh.
I was going to say, do you have time, like, when you're, especially again, like, working full-time as well, like, do you have time to, like, just be in that moment and process it and be like, oh shit, like, I'm doing really well?
Other people tell me things like, "Oh, you seem to be busy." I'm like, "Am I? I gotta go." I think anyone that's sort of worked with or around me, or mainly trained with or around me, will say that my schedule has been harrowing, even in lockdown. I was just there like, I'm going to get another job, you know, like... are
you the sort of person that can't sit still? Do you like to, like, always be doing something?
No, this is the thing. My spirit animal is an absolute slug. Like, well, let's make it nicer. Let's say I'm a cat. But really, I'm a cross between a golden retriever and a cat, right? But a slug. So...
As a slug.
I want to be lying down, doing nothing, being swallowed up by memory foam 90% of the time, but I just won't allow myself to do it.
I was going to say, how often does that actually get to happen?
I do struggle to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, this is so good.
That's always a struggle, isn't it? I'm the worst in, like, I'm one of those people where, like, I can't get to sleep. Like, at night, I can't get to sleep. I always struggle. But then in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, this is the comfiest thing ever.
I'm really sorry to say that I'm probably unconscious before I even hit the pillow.
Oh, I'm so envious. I hate it. My partner's like that as well. She falls asleep like that, and I'm like, how? How do you manage that?
There's always one. There's never both.
No. Yeah, I'm the one that stays up. She gets to sleep straight away. I'm like just lying there like, oh, I wish my brain would switch off.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's a struggle.
I wish I could say that I have some sort of wonderful processy brain, but mine's just bang, no, I'm gone.
Well, I'm very envious.
Right down.
But again, with how busy you are, I guess that's a very big plus point where you don't need to worry about, like, am I going to sleep tonight?
Yeah, I used to really struggle to sleep, but I ain't got that problem anymore.
You're just too busy. That's why your brain doesn't have time to be, like, thinking about other stuff. You're just like too...
Do you know what would really help you sleep? Like working through 3 burnouts before you stop.
I'll take that on board. I'll remember that, yeah. Because I remember the only times that I ever actually sleep is when I'm, like, so ill that my brain is too tired to actually think of anything when I'm in bed. Do you know what I mean?
Legit. I always, like, I'm known for burning the candle in the middle, I would say. We're talking about, like, do people think you're busy? And they're like, yeah, they do. Like, you ever see that artwork where it's, like, burning the candle at both ends, but you're just burning it everywhere? That's me. And I always make a joke of, they're like, how you doing, Lauren? Are you resting? And I'll be like, it's kind of like in Dragon Ball Z. I kind of have it, like, Super Saiyan modes. I was like, I think we're around burnout 3. Like,
Is that of the week or of the month?
that entirely depends. I've seen both.
Been there, or you've done it all. You've experienced it all.
Yes.
And it's a good thing, because at the time this is going out, you're about to be busier, because you're going to be, I don't know whether you'll be technically out in Japan yet at the time this goes out, but you're either going to be on your way there or out there at this very moment as the time this goes out, because you're wrestling for TJPW, which is huge. Congratulations. That's mega.
Thank you. Thanks. It's major.
Yeah, how did that all come about? Like, I mean, obviously, like, we spoke before recording that you've been sitting on it for a while waiting for the announcement, but, like, what was that call, that email, that moment where it all, like, got confirmed, and what was your, like, reaction in that moment?
I got an email that was just like, "You want to go to Japan?" And I was so irritable because I was busy, obviously, and I was like, I don't have time for this conversation. Obviously, I want to go to Japan. So I was just like, yeah, duh. Or like, yeah, really. Maybe I can't remember whether I summoned up some politeness or not, because I can be pretty blunt. And then it was like, oh, cool, you're free in June? And I was like, what? Oh, yes. Then I was super.
I was going to say at that point, yeah, when it's like slightly real, you've got to be like, oh yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, I have professionalism.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm very lucky that I'm very easy to work with, I'd like to say. But I think my moods and my personality is so fluid that you don't always know which Lauren you're getting sometimes. And sometimes I'm like, what? But I'm always, as much as I'm always fun and happy, but yeah, it's like, what do you mean? And then they're like, oh no, this is a really important, cool thing that you're saying about story. And I'll have to just switch around, but because if I'm caught up in something, my brain is very much in that, and I
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, obviously, like, when that moment comes, it's a huge thing. Like, I mean, the countless wrestlers we've had on here who speak about, like, that's the dream, is go to Japan, wrestle in Japan.
Yeah.
And now to be able to do it again, and, like, sort of off the back of this incredible 12 months you've had, that must be, like, a really validating feeling of, like, I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right things, people are, like, noticing me.
You have no idea. You have no idea how validating that is on so many levels in so many parts of my life. Yes, this was never supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to ever have a match, really. Like, it was very much just, I was very much dismissed from the very beginning. So, everything's a bonus. Everything's a kick in the teeth to the naysayers. Screw you guys.
I was going to say, like, I know you've spoken about, like, sort of like the beginning of your career and, like, how you sort of, like, been through that. Like, that must give you that extra, like, fire, that extra determination to be like, fuck you to people and be like, I'm going to prove you all wrong.
Definitely, but, like, in a very wholesome way. So, not that I try to put myself over as wholesome, but I'm not a very vengeful person in a traditional sense. It's very much like revenge is a dish best served as a taster menu with many courses that is the most hospitable best meal they've ever had, just to really rub it in. I just kill them with kindness. I refuse to stoop. Like, if you're really horrible to me, please know that I will love everything you do. I'll just be like, oh, you're great, let's be friends.
That's the best way to do it. I imagine that really riles some people. Like, where they're like, why isn't this getting to them? It's not bugging them. What's wrong with it?
For the wrong reasons. Just be my friend is easier.
I mean, to be fair, it's weird that people would not want that. Like, I don't know why people would want to get on your wrong side.
I find it physically very upset, like, genuinely, like, physically upsetting to not be on at least just neutral terms with people, and they're like, ugh, what's that negative vibe about? I don't like that, because I don't really have a lot of time. I'm like, oh, I need to fix whatever that is, but I don't have the time. And no, I don't.
No, I get it.
I'd rather just cruise by.
Yeah. No, I get it. But that's a good attitude to have, right? It's a good mentality to have, because then I feel like sometimes if you're like sort of like the vengeful person, you can get too strung up on it, right? It can become too like all-consuming.
Oh, screw that. Then you're focusing on the other people. You're focused on yourself.
Exactly, and you focus on yourself, and that's why you've been doing so well, and kudos to you. I mean, it's great to see how much you've done and all you're accomplishing. And again, like, as of the time this goes out, you might already be out in Japan, but like, I mean, what, apart from the wrestling, apart from being a part of TJPW, like, are there any things where automatically, like, you get that, you're like, shit, I'm going to Japan, you're like, I've got to do this and this and this?
I'm really bad at not really, I don't really get the, I'm in complete denial the entire time it's happening. And then once it's happened, I'm like, oh, did that, that's cool. So I do feel a little bit robbed because I don't get the excitement all the time. I think it's a defense mechanism. I think I just go, fine. Don't think about it.
Yeah, stern face away.
Yeah. That's why I have to wrestle that way. Because that's not a mean face. That's denial.
There's like, no, this is happening. I'm gonna wake up and it's just gonna be a dream. All of it's been a dream.
Yeah, like, why do I have this bruise here? Where did that from?
But that's awesome. It's going to be great to see you out there. And again, I think like we can talk about it now because it was just announced as of time of recording this morning that you'll hopefully be part of TJPW back over here as well, because as part of All In Weekend, Eva partnering with TJPW.
I put it in my diary, Dan. I put it in my diary, Dan.
Dan, you better get it done. Book it.
Put it in the diary, Dan.
Give us, what's the dream match? LA Taylor versus Miyu Yamashita, right?
Obviously.
Yeah, that's the one we want. That's what we need.
Oh, everyone wants to see her kick me in.
Yeah, but like, again, you got the height advantage as well. I mean, actually, no, Miyu's kicks can reach super high, can't they? Like, she's so deadly. She's so deadly.
She kick over my head. She's got. Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. It's outrageous. It's like no one should be able to do that.
Their kicks out there are very impressive.
They work on the kicks a lot, don't they? They're very good at that. They know what they're doing kick-wise.
Yeah, man.
You got to prepare some defense mechanisms in the couple of weeks before you're out there. Just come out with like a helmet. Just wear like a.
Yeah. Oh, kicks. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice realization. I was like, yeah, they do loads of kicks. I'm gonna get kicked off.
Prepare yourself. Yeah, those bruises are going to be a bit extra when you're waking up in Japan.
Where am I?
And then you look out the window, you're like, oh shit, I'm in Japan. That must have been real.
And then I'll shut it right down. Yeah. I'm like, no.
This isn't Japan. What do you want about? This is just London. It looks a bit different. No, this is just Cornwall.
Living in my alternate reality as a defense mechanism forever.
Yeah, I mean that's the safe way to be, isn't it? Yeah, just keep it in denial.
I like to think that my and Chuck Mambo's alternative realities are like similar but a different color scheme.
I have never thought about what Chuck Mambo's alternative reality is.
Have you not? I think about it quite a lot.
I can't imagine an alternative Chuck Mambo. Like, I can't imagine Mambo any other way than how he is.
Oh man, what a wholesome human being. I love that guy.
I think what I'd want to see now, I've never even considered it before, but as you mention it, I'd like to see you guys swap gimmicks. I'd like to see you come out with the beach balls and like the surfer attitude and like...
No, because it's too real. I wouldn't struggle with that at all. I'm not sure I could do a lot of the balancing. He balances a lot better than I do. I'm a terrible surfer. But yeah, I'd be like, woo! I grew up like 100 yards from the beach.
I was going to say, you can live it. This is it. This is like you.
Oh, so I'm just a wobbly female Chuck Mambo. TK would be so upset.
Oh, he would. No, Mambo would take TK with him to Cornwall. What are you on about? They would never. Yeah,
no, that's a good point.
They're not going to be separated.
Maybe TK could be Skye.
Oh my god. Can this match happen? Can it be you and Skye versus TK and Mambo, but you switch gimmicks? That would be amazing. Like, imagine TK coming out doing, like, the sexy Smitson hips. Like...
What are you saying? Wow.
Imagine how good that would be. Imagine the pop that would get.
Man. Unboxing's going to be weird this year.
Oh my god! Well, Lee, if you're watching, get this book. This is what we need in unboxing.
Progress multiverse.
No, that's it. It's like what is it? Because we had Doris debut at the Multiverse Rumble, didn't we? This year. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's no reason that like not the opposite, because you and Skye have already debuted at Eve, but it could be Mambo and TK in the Multiverse Rumble as you and Skye.
It's the greatest team. TK Mambo Sunshine Machine.
Oh.
That don't tempt me.
It would be good, wouldn't it? I think you'd love to come out to that music as well, wouldn't you?
I'm going all in if I'm doing that. That'd be so funny.
That's what we all need. I can't believe this hasn't happened, and now it's all I want to see.
Wow.
Who knows? Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed.
I mean, they will hit us with a cease and desist. But on tie-dye paper, cease and desist, stop that right now.
It would be the coolest cease and desist you ever received, though, wouldn't it? Like, it would be you'd be like, oh, this isn't real. They're just joking, and then they take you to court. You'd be like, oh, but it was so colourful.
I thought it was like a friendship lesson.
It would be amazing. It would be amazing. And as you're taking a sip of your drink there, it did remind me. You spoke about Multiverse Rumble and your Hungry Caterpillar mug. I think that's like, as we were talking about before recording, I think that's a great gimmick for Multiverse Rumble if you want one for next year. Like,
this is my video meeting mug. It's been on many a video call. You can speak to the Progress creative team about my Hungry Caterpillar mug.
I mean, it is the greatest children's book of all time.
Oh, take away the children's. It's the greatest book of all time.
The greatest novel of all time.
Bro starts out is in 3 acts.
Yeah.
It's a 3-act growth story, and he has an absolute bonanza in the middle. Anything is possible. Little egg, butterfly. You can be fat in the middle. Oh, look, it's me.
I was going to say it's a great wrestling metaphor, isn't it? Like, you start out, you're a bit fresh, you're not quite sure, and then you eat right in the middle. You're just eating all the way, and then
don't bring it back.
Yeah.
You know, flashbacks, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You think that I'm in the caterpillar stage right now, but you guys didn't know me before. So, but no, I could be the Hungry Caterpillar in the Multiverse Rumble.
I think that'd be good. I'm not sure where you'd get that outfit. I'm not sure they do that. If they do, I'm not sure.
Wear a sleeping bag, cut some holes in it.
Oh, of course. There you go. Yeah.
I'll like pretend to eat everyone like a zombie, and then I'll just be like, I'm still hungry.
Yeah. And then someone else comes out, yeah. And that's the moment, isn't it? Like, booking-wise, you'd be like, I'm still hungry, and that's when, like, the big surprise entrant comes out or something.
Yeah,
like, that's when, like...
It books itself. Brilliant,
yeah.
I think.
Dan, again, if you're watching, you know what to do. Like, we're just feeding you booking ideas here. Come on. You got to take them.
Dan is so fed up of my shit.
You go to him a lot with ideas?
Only the silly ones. And he's just like, hi...
I mean, he has no right to do that for silly ideas anymore, does he? Because he's booked the Top Shagger and her Donny. Like, once you've booked that,
perfect decision though. Great team.
Oh my god, great team. They love it. Like, we had Kanji on the pod like a little while ago talking about like just as they'd started, and like I was talking to her about like how they just look so happy in the ring when they're doing it. Like, they just look like they're having the best time, and it's just so heartwarming to see that.
Who wouldn't be? It's like 2 of the UK's best wrestlers shoved together and told to have a laugh, but to do it really well.
Yeah. I've got to ask you this, though. This is the key question, right? Because I asked Kanji this, and no oone's given me an answer yet. Do you know who the Top Shagger is? Like, which one of them is the Top Shagger?
So for me, I feel that Top Shagger is a title that is fluid, and it depends on the day.
They could interchange it based on how the situation...
I wouldn't want to speak on their behalf on who it has been at any time, but I do believe that, you know, from my perspective, I think that it's a fluid concept.
Yeah, sure. Either one of them can be the Top Shagger at any given moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Emerson and Jane will say, like, no. But the way I see it.
Yeah, I prefer to see it as that, as like a fluid concept of like, they all can be, anyone can be.
Who the Top Shagger is today.
The Top Shagger's a mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the state of being.
Exactly. I love it. Well, we talk about Eve. I want to ask you about Eve because obviously, like, again, you only just recently relatively debuted for Eve. And again, like, we talk about big milestone moments. That must have been a big one for you in terms of, like, we've spoken to so many people on the podcast about, like, how difficult a man Dan is to please in terms of, like, you're doing something right when he books you because he expects so much of the wrestlers that are on his shows. So it must be a really nice feeling, like, when you get that booking and you can be like, oh, like, okay, I have this guy's backing, like, he clearly sees something in me. Again, I'm on the right path.
Yeah, no, I didn't think I was ever going to get that call, to be honest. I openly had said to a lot of people, fine, he doesn't like me, whatever. And yeah, the call came and that was nice. I was like, okay. And I didn't expect much. I thought, oh, it'd be nice to do one and say that I went there. Because obviously being a female wrestler in Europe, you look at Eve. Eve is sort of the showcase of what the scene is at any given time. And the people who are established, the people who have done crazy things, and the people who are going to do crazy things. So it's very much somewhere that you need to keep an eye on. And it is somewhere that, you know, I sort of kept an eye on bits and made sure I knew what was going on. But because I wasn't a part of it, I was kind of like, I'll just keep my distance there because I got other stuff. But it was really nice to be asked eventually. Yeah.
And I was going to say you come on leaps and bounds, like not just there, but like in terms of there, like what, 4 months later from your debut, you're in the main event. 3 months later from your debut, you're in the main event in a War Games match.
My debut was the main event.
Yeah.
My debut was for the title in the main event.
It was
against Nina Samuels.
Like that's again thrown in the deep end, isn't it? Like
this is I'm Dan. Hi, I'm Dan. Here's the deep end. Just push you right in. Just leave you swim. I felt as though he was testing me.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Test me, that's fine. So I got my pre-workout, down some pre-workout, and I went out. Pretty much.
Hey, Lauren. Like, I want to book you for your first match in Eve. How do you feel? Yeah, that's great. Oh, you're going to be against Nina Samuels for the title in the main event. Ah, chill, easy. I was like, yeah. Poker face, like, no problem. Easy. No
biggie.
How many belts has she got? That's fine. Whatever.
She had a few less then, and she's become prolific.
And then she got OP, didn't she? Yeah. Oh. Just outrageous. She's got one less now though from the 10 that she brought out at the War Games show. She's got one less now, but you know.
Well, she'll have another.
She'll have another like 4. By the time this goes out, she'll have another 4.
I hope so. I love that woman.
She's wonderful.
Nina Samuels is incredible.
And not just for her baking skills.
I'm like the worst because I'm always on some kind of eating plan, and I don't set my cheat days for show day, and she comes in with these delicious bakes, and I'll be like, no, thank you. I don't think I've ever eaten a Nina Samuels bake, you know.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, man.
That's outrageous. Yeah. How have you even managed that?
But self-hate. I don't know. pure like just
you too set
waiting until they're gone. I'll get one later.
And then they're all gone.
Yeah, because they're great.
Yeah. I mean, I always sort of brag a little because we had her on the show last year, sort of around this time, and we talked about her baking, and I was like, you should start selling them at shows. And then she started selling them at shows, and it was terrible. It was the worst thing I've ever done because my wallet has suffered greatly.
That's what you get.
Like, forget about merch, wrestling show. First thing, baked goods. All good.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Like, yeah, you've got to try it.
Can we talk about how she works that schedule and still makes those bakes?
Yeah, I know, right? It's outrageous.
Hours of work that go into looking that incredible, training to be that incredible, then all of the shows.
Yeah.
Your regular day-to-day life and making all these beautiful cakes. Oh, I
Yeah.
want one.
And even like, and especially like when you talk about like before she was even selling them, because then she's just doing it like out of the goodness of her heart to be like, I'm going to take these to the locker room. Like, and it's like, how do you have time? Like,
No, I did have one once. I had a protein one once.
oh, okay. How was it?
It was nice.
Mm.
It was the nicest protein. I think it was a protein brownie.
Yeah.
No, I definitely. Yeah, it's backstage at the Frog and Fiddle.
Ah, great venue as well.
For SWW. Yeah. You say it's a great venue. It's the one I've got the most abuse in. So I don't enjoy it as much.
Ah, that's a problem then, isn't it? Like, do you mean like kayfabe abuse or like actual?
No, I mean like I didn't want to wrestle there for a bit because people were saying disgusting things.
Oh, well, that's bullshit. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's horrible. That's fucked.
Grim. I remember like it started. I had a match with Danny Luna there, and sort of some dodgy things were heckled at us.
Oh.
And I was like,
do I need to ask? I assume I know what it is. If you mean like, because my mind goes to a certain place when it's women's match and people being dicks. Like
it's just like suggesting sexual acts.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm just like, oh.
That is
Are
a
we
piss
still
take.
doing this? I've had that happen to me. I was wrestling the NWA Women's Champion Camille.
Yeah.
And we had a heckle.
That's
and it
so
was a family
fun.
show. There were kids there. And I was just like, you are an idiot.
It's so fucked, isn't it? It's so fucked up.
I wasn't even offended on my behalf. I was offended on... I was like, there are kids. There are kids here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like, what sort of person do you need to be to do that? Especially, again, like, in that environment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people. It's very strange in the modern day where we are now, but I get a lot of people using the old sort of Attitude Era trope of the old signs where it used to say China is a man.
Right.
I get a lot of people saying that Taylor is a man. And I'm like, well, I don't, is it an insult, anyone? I know it's because you mean it as an insult. It's an insult and it's bad. But even if I was a different gender or a different, like, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, how do I express my displeasure at this?
It's weird, isn't it? Because, like you say,
because
it's like...
it doesn't actually matter anyway.
Yeah.
But you're being horrible. You're trying to be horrible, so...
It's tricky, isn't it? Because, like, again, that's the thing. Is like, no matter what gender you identify as, that's your choice, and that's like completely up to you. But also, like, you're LA fucking Taylor, right? Like, the fact that anyone has the balls to like say that to you or mess with you, because like you could kick the shit out of anyone, right? Like
I'm kind of busy. We're kind of upside down here in the air. Can you shut up?
Like trying to focus, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, just the balls to know that, like, you could kick the shit out of them if you wanted to. Like, why?
Man.
Why even do it? Why even bother?
Oh, it's so funny. I had someone try and touch me inappropriately at the Frog and Fiddle. At another time, someone tried to touch me inappropriately whilst I was outside of the ring wrestling Jetta. And as much as kayfabe, I dislike Jetta intensely. Woo, that really hurt me to say it. I adore the bones of the woman, and I was like in shock. I was sort of like, and then immediately, before I could get angry and get myself a criminal record, she pushed me out the way. I was like, what? I was on this guy.
Yeah.
She took his glasses off, smashed them on the floor, and was like, I was like,
fucking hell. Yeah, just completely like disregard the kayfabe. Like, yeah, fuck that.
Like she was like my wrestling mama bear.
Yeah.
She went mad.
No one does that to my daughter.
Yeah, she was like, I'm the only one who gets to beat the crap out of her. Started beating me up again. I was just like, I'm getting mixed signals.
What do I do now? I can't go back to beating you up. What do I do?
I was like, thank you. Yeah. And also, ow, you kicked me in the face.
Oh, that's fucked. I'm really sorry you've been through that. That's real shit. Like,
that's
and again,
fine.
like, it sucks the amount that people say that. It sucks the amount that this still happens. Like, I just can't believe it.
I haven't been back to that venue since.
No, I don't blame you. Yeah, I wouldn't. Like,
whenever I do go there, I'm very on guard now. Which is a shame.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to be, should you? That's the thing. is like we've spoken to a lot of like wrestlers and fans as well on the podcast where like who are women and are like, you know, there's been instances at shows where like it makes you put your guard up and you don't want to have to go to a show with your guard up, always wary. Like you just want to go and enjoy the show or enjoy being in the ring like you're doing.
Like if you're not 100% into your match, it's not going to be your best work. So, you know, everybody loses.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do any less than your best.
Yeah.
You want to do the best that you can possibly do that day. So to then not be fully in that, you know, you're immediately, that annoys me.
Yeah.
That's the bit that annoys me. I'm like, oh, you're ruining it for everyone else because I can't do my best for them now.
Yeah. So, it's so fun.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, isn't it? Like they had, I don't know if you saw, there was that whole like thing on Twitter about was it Skye Blue and another wrestler, like they were having a match and like someone posted this shit tweet of like, oh, like they should cover up more because they're showing like too much arse or something, and like it's like you shouldn't be doing that as a wrestler. It's like, why? Like they can wear what they want, right? Like what the fuck? Like, but that doesn't give you the right to like, the guys are out there right in trunks where like in some cases you can legit just see a bulge and that's like no one says anything, no one bats an eyelid.
Yeah, you know, guys wearing trunks when they could just wear a singlet.
Yeah.
Which is the sort of more athletically recognised item of clothing.
Yeah, or like a Moxley and just come out in like a vest and jeans or something. Like you could just cover up, but no one says that to the guys,
What's
right?
the fun in that?
Like, why the fuck are the women getting this shit where it's like, oh, you should cover up more because you're like, again, it's almost like they're like, oh, you're asking to be degraded because you're dressing like that. It's like, what the fuck?
It's funny. You know, for me, I know some guys who work so hard on their physiques and everything, they should get to show it off if they want to.
Yeah.
And similarly, if you don't want to, you shouldn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
again, I just think whatever puts you in the best position to do the best job that you can do that day.
And again, that should be regardless of gender. Like, that shouldn't be...
Yeah.
That's the fuck thing.
Cassius got a great booty.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, he delivers all the time.
Shout out.
What a legend Cassius is. He's so great. He was great
Not to objectify you, hun. You just look great.
Absolute babe. 10 out of 10. Love it. I love it. But no, again, like onto like again. I mean, it sort of like took a downside down. That's really shit. And again, I'm sorry you've.
No, that's fine. There's no like happy things.
No. Like again, I'm sorry you've been through it, and it is really shit. And like, I mean, hopefully the scene is like changing.
I don't usually talk about that stuff.
No, but it's wild that like that's the thing, isn't it? It's like I think it's important to talk about. Like, it's shit that still happens on the scene, and that like people are subjected to that. It's bullshit, and you shouldn't have to be. Because like again, like I said, like. Regardless, but in terms of you personally, you're LA fucking Taylor. Like, you're an awesome wrestler. You're great in the ring, and people should focus on that and only that. And also, you could kick the shit out of anyone who disrespects you. So, like, why would you do that?
So silly.
You should do it one time, just once. Just get that criminal record. Just be like.
Yeah. If there's no other way for my career, I might just.
Well, I mean, I was going to say on to nicer things, but again, we're going to badmouth some people now, because we've got a little feature on the show called Dishing the Dirt, and I'm going to have you dish some dirt on your locker room mates, because I've got some questions for you here, and I want you to let me know for each one which wrestler comes to mind. It doesn't have to just be at Eve or at a certain promotion, it can just be whoever comes to mind that you've wrestled with on the indie scene. So the first one is, who's always running late?
It's usually Chantel or Lizzie.
We've had Lizzie before, I think, to be honest.
I'll be like... I'm in a match with Lizzie, where is she? Can we move it back?
Yeah.
Is she going to be here?
She'll turn up just in time.
She's always down. She knows what she's doing.
She's like, I'm here, it's fine, let's go, straight away.
Yeah, and like, she always looks great and you always have a great time.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. She knows she's going to deliver.
Yeah.
Brilliant. The next one is, who has the worst music taste?
Oh.
Normally I say, like, this is clearly, like, it's either who has the worst, like, compared to what you like, or, like, it's generally a carpool one. We get a lot of the carpool ones, where people are like, oh, I travel with this person and they put on this and it's terrible.
Yeah, well, I feel really bad because it's one of my favourite people to carpool with, but there was this one time where I let Elijah drive instead, and he put on like this. It's mainly because I just didn't know any of the songs, and it was all like it was really cool. I guess it was more like rap and grime and stuff, and I listened to like some stuff like that, but probably only the sort of more well-known songs. And I was just there like, I have to go all the way to Leicester, listening to no songs I know.
How am I meant to perform at Resurgence under these conditions?
Yeah, I get car sick as well, which is why I like to drive. So I'm just there like, just feeling really rough. Just going like, I don't know any of these songs.
And you haven't let Elijah drive since?
Do you know, I don't think we've actually had a carpool since.
You were like, that's it.
We won't now. He'll be like, not travelling with her.
That was it. How dare you? How dare you disrespect the music?
But he is one of my favourite people to carpool with. Because otherwise we have a great time.
Yeah. When the music's not that.
Yeah, he usually really pokes fun at my playlist because it's so...
different to his?
Hot and cold. No, it's just everything randomly.
Oh, you're a bit all over. All over the place.
Total 180 mood change every 2 seconds. He's just like, wow. This playlist could have anything on it.
Oh, okay. So a lot of the time we get people saying that's the worst sort of music taste because it's like, just pick something like, I don't like carpooling because it's like you never know what you're going to get. I just want to know what I'm listening to.
Hey, do you know the number one hack for carpooling music? And this was taught to me by Eddie Ryan.
Okay.
So you play the alphabet game and say you've got Spotify or something. Apart from obviously the driver, the phone gets passed round and they'll tell you their option. If you want to make it super fun, you don't let people know what you're choosing, and you go through the alphabet by artist.
Nice.
Yeah, and then you put a song on.
Nice. It's like before Spotify. Did you ever do like YouTube Suggests?
No.
So that's like, it's like similar. It's like you put a song on YouTube and that starts it, and then you got to go to the related section and you got to pick the next song from there, but it can't be a band that you've already listened to. And it's like similar to that.
That sounds like hell.
Yeah. You don't let the other person know what you're putting on as well. So it can be totally random. And then it's sort of like, not the game, but the game sort of becomes like, how do I get to like, it's sort of like the travelling through genres, you know what I mean? Like, how can I get as far away from the starting genre as possible by only picking related songs?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it works well. I haven't played it in a while, but I might get back to it now that I've brought it up. I feel like it's time again. It's time to bring it back.
It's worth a shot.
The next one's a nice one. The next one's who's the comedian of the locker room? Who can you always count on to make you laugh?
Everyone. Millie.
Yeah.
Skye sometimes. She's got very dark humour, Skye.
Does she?
If you like gallows humour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes when they get together, their humour gets so dark, I'm just like, oh. Sometimes you're just like, please stop.
Yeah. What is happening?
Millie and Skye for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We get those answers, I think. Like, we've had those before. Yeah. Millie's great.
They lighten up wherever they go.
Yeah, you know they can, don't you? They know they can. I mean, like, again, shout out Millie. We mentioned her before, but shout out Millie giving Doris his Multiverse Rumble debut. Like, that was an epic moment.
Oh, man, she's got the best sense of humour.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She killed it as well. She nailed it as well.
100%. No one else could have done that, I don't think.
No, it had to be Millie. The next one's my favourite on the list, because it's essentially the worst one on the list. It's who in the locker room would you absolutely, under no circumstances, let a family member date?
Oh, I had an answer.
But...
it's too real.
Oh, okay. It can be in a nice way. We've had people be like, oh no, like this person's like too attractive, or like they like take up too much of their time. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be a negative as to why you wouldn't.
Let's do that.
Kinda.
Everyone I'm thinking of already has a really lovely partner.
Oh, you don't have to. They don't have to. Like, we're not talking cheating, and we're talking like everyone's single. Like, there's no infidelity. Like, everyone's on the table essentially. For want of a better phrase.
Oh, this is too good.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's got to be someone that, like, a family member would walk in the door holding their hand and you'd be like, no, that's not happening. You can't do that. I'm not allowing it.
Like, so many. I don't think anyone in my family should be with anyone in wrestling. We're all weird. We're all weird. It's bad enough that I'm one of them.
Already got one in the family. You don't need two.
Yeah, God. Can you... Oh. Oh, God, no, I don't know.
In my mind, I feel like you could say Skye again, just for purely...
I was going to say Skye because she's just too good for anyone. But I don't want her to think that that's me, her blocking her from happiness. She's like, man, what are you doing? It's ruining my love life.
I was planning to date one of your family members as well. Come on.
Like, you leave my sister alone. All right. But yeah, probably Skye.
Yeah, let's go that.
Yeah, too good.
The next one we're talking out the ring, all right, in the locker room. Who has the worst dress sense?
Worse.
Yeah, like someone turns up to a show dressed in something and you're like, what are you wearing?
It's probably me because I just turn up in the set. It's literally this top. I turn up in one of two Metallica tops.
Always Metallica. Gotta be Metallica.
And yeah, they're just my comfy tops, man.
Nice.
And everyone will just be like, gee, what jumper is she going to wear today?
This Metallica one or this Metallica one?
Yeah, but the thing is fans have cottoned onto it now. And they're like, oh, I've got a picture of you with you in both of your Metallica tops now. And I'm there like, oh, how?
I only wear two things, it's fine.
Oh, okay, so you have two photos of me.
Yeah, well done.
Both variants.
Well, no one said you, if that helps. No one's ever said you that we've asked.
Oh,
so.
thank goodness, that's good.
So like
I wouldn't say worst. I would just say like
different.
The most, like, I wouldn't think to wear that and it seems really comfy. Probably Crowley.
Yeah. Crowley's eclectic.
But in like an admirable way where I'm like,
yeah, it's sort of like
really comfortable.
We've had it with like Crowley and with Gene Money as well, where like they're the people that turn up in stuff that only they could pull off. So it's not bad. It's only there. It's to them.
Yeah, very that. TK and Mambo.
Yeah.
They seem to just like, I'm like, oh, same vibe.
But they pull it off. That's the thing.
So comfortable. I would never wear that.
Yeah, you could never pull it off yourself.
Of course, I would never wear that because it's outside my 2 items of clothing.
This isn't one of my Metallica tops. What are you doing?
What? Patagonia? Who's that?
Well, the next one is talking about something you would wear because we're talking in the ring now, and you've forgotten your gear for a show. And you've got to borrow someone's gear, but we're talking one size fits all. You can pick anyone you want. Whose gear do you look at and you're like, I could absolutely pull that off?
Ooh. Oh.
For this as well, I'll give you the fact that, like, if you wanted to pick a guy, you can. We're assuming that everything that needs to be covered is covered.
Yeah.
And like ring gear,
cool.
like ring
Crowley.
ring walk gear. Like if they wear a jacket and stuff, that counts as part of the gear. So you get all of that as well.
I have 3.
Go on.
Crowley.
Yeah, solid.
Session Moth because that'd be hilarious.
I would love to see that in London.
Hey, you say this. I originally basically wanted to be Session Moth.
Really?
Yeah, when I first started wrestling, I came up with this character idea that I wanted to do. And my friend was just like, isn't that just Session Moth? And I was like, oh, yeah, it really is.
You could have been one of her children.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm not.
I mean, anyone could be, couldn't they? Really, anyone in British wrestling at this point could be one of Session Moth's children.
Do you know what, though? Like, over the past sort of year, 18 months or so, she's been a massive, massive influence and support to me. We've shared hotel rooms and stuff, and we had the experience that was the AEW weekend together in a hotel room.
How was that?
Oh yeah, everything you'd expect it to be.
Yeah. It's good. I wouldn't want to like destroy the gimmick and be like, oh no, she's just really boring out the ring, just chills watching TV.
No.
She lives the gimmick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was in bed, face mask on, book, thinking I'm really boring. I only got in at like 3 a.m. And she comes in an hour or so later, and I was like, oh.
Hi.
Hi. She'd had a lovely time. You'd have to ask her. That's her business.
I love it. Love Moth.
Yeah.
What a girl. Brilliant.
Honestly, just one of the best people who just deserves everything.
Yeah.
Really great person.
Yeah, totally agree. Who's your third? You had three. You had Moth and Crowley.
Oh, yeah. Zizi.
Oh, yeah. Zizi's got a hell of a... And the jacket as well.
Yeah, man. I want to have a snazzy light. I feel like it reminded me a bit of if you sort of had a light up red coat.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want a snazzy jacket.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I like the lights.
Nice. Yeah, I like it. I think you can pull all of those off. I think that'd be good. I think we need to see them. We can add that to the list of the Mambo gimmick as well.
Yeah.
Just go through it.
Gravel up my voice a bit to sound like Mambo. Again.
He's Samoa.
He's Samoan. Just practice my catchphrases.
There you go. Yeah. Brilliant.
Ring, it's for you.
Love it. Well, the next one actually could be part of your last answer, because the next one is, who would throw the best party in the locker room? And I feel like we all know who it is.
Moth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Session Moth party, could you imagine?
Oh,
it's... couldn't handle.
I mean, I don't think anyone... I feel like, again, like we talked about the clothing, I feel like only Moth could handle a Moth party. Like, everyone else is going to be, like, again, like you say, like, passed out, like, a couple of hours in. And...
Wouldn't that just be great? In her, like... Her Hell in a Cell, her Punjabi prison, is actually...
Session Moth's house party.
Sesh. Literally, Sesh.
Oh my god.
Session Moth Sesh.
The Sesh match.
And hop aboard, all aboard the Sesh train.
This is something.
Seshly hem.
Again, sorry, what?
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 Oh, that's what we do at Christmas at home. We're like, hop aboard. It's the night before Seshmas. We're off to Seshly hem.
Wow.
Sorry.
What?
Do you know when you go back home for Christmas, if you celebrate?
Yeah.
And everyone Christmas Eve is just in the local pub.
No, see, my family's never been like that. I can't relate to that experience.
It might be like a Cornwall thing. We don't really. It's the worst time if you work in pubs, because you're like, oh, all these people who only come to the pub on New Year's and Christmas Eve, but it'll be like, oh, I'm just going to pop down the pub for a quick one.
Yeah.
Because you know everyone's going to be there, so you can catch up with all your school friends.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a Cornish thing.
No, I don't know. I know that other people do go down the pub Christmas Eve. I get that as a concept. It's just not something that like my family's ever done. So it's not something I can relate to. But I do know other people.
I was like, oh no, are we
different?
Functioning alcoholics. But no, everybody does it.
No. Yeah, I know a lot of other people that do it. It's just like I can't relate because it's not something that my family's ever done.
Yeah.
But a Seshmas again seems like a very Moth thing that she did.
Oh man, I love her to read us the night before Seshman.
Oh my god, maybe we'll do that. Maybe...
Yeah, I could come up with so much. I just want her to do everything. I adore her. But yes, I think I'd love to see her do like a last man standing match.
Yeah, but it's the Sesh.
It's her like final calling card to really end a feud. And it's just the Session Wolf house party or the Sesh.
I love it. Yeah, we do a lot of fantasy booking.
Raven at the end, last man standing, because everyone's on the floor. They've just passed out.
That's amazing. We do a lot of fantasy booking here, but I think that might be one of the top ones I've heard. Like,
just works.
One of
my favorite things I've ever seen was at the AEW weekend. She had a hangover match, and unfortunately, that was very close to the truth for all of us.
Just a little too close. The line between kayfabe and reality.
I know what we'll do.
That's just getting into character, though, isn't it? It's just getting into character. Just making sure you're prepared.
We love it. Brilliant. Yeah, like honestly, one of my favorite people Oh God.
Big up North. Love
She's
that.
gonna be like.
She's gonna be like, ugh.
She's like, oh. Gross. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Just spending a lengthy amount of time writing a love letter to this lady.
Dear Moth.
How much? Dear Moth, I think you're right great. Please be my friend. L.A. Taylor. Thanks. P.S. Sorry about throwing you in chairs at Progress.
But the PS is important because you want to make it known that you are sorry about that.
So might do it again.
Can't guarantee it won't happen again.
Sometimes I get overexcited, so it has to be a disclaimer.
Brilliant. Well, that's amazing. This one, I'd be surprised if you said Moth, because I don't think she'd be very good at this last question on the list. It's, who would you choose to be your partner in the zombie apocalypse?
Oh.
It's a crucial one, this. I think it might be the most important on the list.
Like, survival partner?
Well, it depends. Like, again, I always say it depends what you want them for. Like, they can be really good at survival and you want them for that, or they can be like the sort of person that you throw to the wolves while you escape. So
No, I'm going to go for survival person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and one of the biggest fans of the Walking Dead who I've ever met, Toby St. John.
Okay.
From the Blockbusters.
Mm.
Fantastic tag team. You should check them out. But Toby St. John, my goodness. Not only is he absolutely jacked, but he's a farm boy, right?
Right.
So he can chop wood, he can build stuff, he can lift cows, I expect. So
Never seen it, but you assume, yeah.
yeah, like he's a beautiful country boy, and from just over the border in Devon, which we forgive him for because he's some boy and that's all right. But yeah, that definitely. If you want anyone in a zombie apocalypse, you want that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out, please come find me when the zombies come along, pal.
Help, yeah.
I'll
Pop him a text, help.
cook real good. I can cook well.
There you go. What's your signature dish? That's the key question.
Oh, do you know what? I don't get to cook it that much because my partner doesn't like spice very much.
Okay.
But a Thai green. I do a banging Thai green. I do a really good ramen as well.
Oh, I love ramen.
But I want to get a pressure cooker next so I can learn how to make a tonkotsu broth from scratch. But you've got to like pressure cook the bones to get the broth.
I mean, I know this is the first time we've like properly chatted in depth, but if I've won you over enough, like please invite me and my partner when you make that because we fucking love ramen. Like tonkatsu.
Well, it's fallen off the wagon a little bit, but I did start doing a little Instagram stories feature called Nudes. Just a.
I don't remember seeing those, but
spelled N00.
Yeah, of course. You know? Yeah.
So, and where I just go around trying loads of different ramen and noodle like pho and from different places because I love a noodle soup.
And yeah, noodle broth is like elite.
Oh, I love a broth.
Yeah.
I get to the point after Christmas, I sit there, I go, sorry, I go, ugh, so I'm fatter than Santa at that point. And I get fed up. It gets to like the 28th. I look over at my partner, I go, I need vegetables and broth. And I go and I get ramen.
Nice.
And like I eat like just vegetables and broth basically. Maybe a bit of meat in there if you're into it.
Bit of char siu,
just nutrients. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
That for about a month. That's January for me.
No, to be fair, it's the best time as well. It's when you want that comfort, that warming, like, it's so good.
Talk about it all the time. I'm going to try and get Skye Smitson to take me out in London soon. And I've said that we need to go and eat some foods. And I hope that she takes me to like a hot pot or a ramen place. Oh,
Chinatown is great. There's loads of great hot pot in Chinatown.
I've always walked through Chinatown when it's closed.
Oh, what?
Well, mostly closed. Then I get intimidated because there's either too many options or like two options and they seem quite similar. And I'm like, I need someone to go, this is my favourite Chinatown restaurant. Have you seen the hot pot place in Piccadilly?
No, I don't know that one.
You know where you.
Yeah.
It's like I'm washing my hands in a little seafood bowl.
Where you hot pot, where you do the hot pot.
Where you hot pot?
Yeah.
I desperately want to do one of those. I've done Korean barbecue before. Where
Yeah.
You cook, yeah, and that's really great. They used to have one of those in Cornwall, believe it or not. And
A novelty, yeah.
oh, that was a great year. But yeah.
Yeah, hot pot is elite. Hot pot might be like in my top 3 dishes. Like, I love hot pot.
Wow.
So good. I'll let you know the one we go to in Chinatown, me and my partner.
Please.
I don't know if it's the best. It's
I'm
just
dragging Smitson there.
It's just the only one we go to.
I've got to go over to the Japanese embassy for obvious reasons.
Yeah, while you're there, just stop by. Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what we're planning to do. I'm going to be like, I've got to come up to do like 10 minutes of paperwork.
Yeah, you got to make it worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we might do dinner and a show.
Nice. Yeah.
Matinee.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Mm.
I was going to say it's not in Chinatown, but there's also a place called Ippudo, which does like the best ramen.
Ooh.
It's a chain, but it's good enough that I know that, like, you know, I watch a lot of Japan vlogs and stuff, but even vloggers in Japan are like, it's the best chain in Japan. So like when you know that, then you know it's good. And there's one in Canary Wharf, and there's one somewhere else. It's not in Chinatown, but it might be near Chinatown.
The one in Canary Wharf called like Bone Daddy.
Yeah.
I've had that.
That's good. No, Ippudo's better. Ippudo's like the best ramen I think I've ever had.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Shout
really...
out to Bone Daddy though, because they kept me going at a very high pressure week.
And that's what you need. Big shout out. That's important.
Yeah.
You need those things that push you through.
Hi guys, I really like your stuff.
#ad.
Oh man.
LA Taylor, sponsored by Bone Daddy.
It's just such a terrible phrase, isn't it? It's not family friendly.
It's not family friendly. It doesn't really lend itself to wrestling as well, especially with all, again, like with all the shit. I didn't want to say the full phrase with their company name in case someone samples it or something. So, but yes. Who else? Do you know what? There's a company in Cornwall. I've been trying to get their attention for a while. They're called Pasties and Pull-Ups. They're a fitness brand. Oh.
And I'm now like, hi guys.
Who represents that better? Yeah. Pro wrestler from Cornwall.
My pull-ups are pretty rubbish, but I'm great at pasties.
I mean, yeah, what, making or eating or both?
Well, I'm definitely great at eating them. That's why I'm always on an eating plan. But I'm learning how to make them. So we had a whole fiasco on St. Piran's Day, Patron's Day of Cornwall.
Yeah.
Where I made the dough and it went terribly wrong. And I had to go tail between my legs to my mother and be like, Mom, it's not working. And she was like, right, come here and we'll make some bloody pastry. And I was like, yeah, all right. And we chucked it all in and shit, I've got a batch frozen down for when I come back from Japan. And I'm allowed to eat pasties again.
You could be the Nina Samuels, but with pasties, like bring pasties to the shows.
You say that, so Bo Bell's partner is from Liskeard in Cornwall. And so I've promised them that I'll sort of bring them care packages up to London in return for somewhere to stay.
Yes, again, like pop a couple over to me as well. Like happily pay you, it's fine. But like, I love a good pasty, so
just do an outreach. Just do some little cocktail ones, like you get at
like canapes, but they're pasties. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Pasties at weddings.
Oh. Can you imagine? Yeah, a little tray like someone's all dressed.
Do you not have that there?
No, that's definitely a Cornwall thing. Come on.
Honestly,
no one's coming up to a wedding in London with canapé pasties.
Oh man, I used to work at weddings and I got fed up. And I'd be like, what pasties are they? I start getting fussy. Like, who made the pasties? And if it was someone where I was like, they're not top 5, I wouldn't have one. But I'd take one home for my dad. You know
the elite ones. Yeah, you know the ones to avoid.
Yeah. Malcolm Barnicot's, shout out, Malky Bees.
This whole last 10 minutes has just been a sponsorship thing for ramen and pasties. Like,
I'm made of ramen and pasties. What do you think is in here?
That's what I'm built on.
Yeah.
And that's why the Cornwall...
How do you make an LA Taylor? A bit of pasty, lots of pasties, and a little bit of ramen.
As long as you don't mix them, as long as there's no, what's it called? Like, fusion cuisine, where like...
No, if you mix them, you end up with this.
Just a bowl of ramen with a pasty sitting on top.
Just dip it in.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
I get a lot of hate back home for that.
Well, can you imagine the hate you'd get either in Cornwall or out in Japan if you did that?
Yeah. I'm a controversial character, you know?
This is
Division is what I like to create with my choices. A terrible lifestyle choice.
And you do it well. You do it brilliantly.
Thanks.
You do it
Thank
brilliantly. Well, that brings an end to that feature. And before we get into our closing feature, I just want to ask you about one more thing. We've spoken about her a lot so far in recording, and that is sexy Skye Smitson. Someone you've grown very close to in the last few years. And again, absolutely killing it, you guys, at the minute. Progress at Resurgence, like you're smashing it. It's brilliant to see. It's great to see all you guys have done. The first thing we've got to get into before that is, like, we've got to acknowledge it. Like, the fuck is up with Lana Austin? Like, what is that bullshit? She got too jealous. She got too upset that you guys were doing it without her.
Clearly, we've underestimated or not understood what she wanted from this dynamic. And it's changed. So she hit my girl. She hit Skye.
Yeah, bullshit. You don't do that.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Have you seen the photo? She's literally like sucker punching her.
I've not seen the photo. I've seen like the footage.
Yeah, you should go look at that photo. It's bang on.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's bang on.
Lana, come on. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I go between consternation and just shock and upset, really.
Yeah, she brought you in. Looked like you guys were like best of friends, and then for her to do that, I'll tell you what it was. I don't want to point fingers, but I'm going to. I think it was Rob Drake. I think he got in the middle of you guys.
Oh, this guy. A lot of people want me to talk about that person, but
You're not going to do it. No, you're not going to give him the satisfaction. And I admire that. I respect that. But you guys have done it without her. You're doing great at the minute. You're owning up progress. You're Resurgence tag champs. I mean, that must have been a cool moment as well. Like, obviously, you're sort of like aligned with Rain Leverkusen there as well, who turned her back on the Resurgence faithful, and helped you guys with this.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
Rain deserves more. Rain is one of those unique creatures where the sky really is the limit. I'm glad that she's seen the light. She wasn't being given enough.
Yeah. And you guys have helped her to that as well. Like, helped to get that as well. Like, you all work together brilliantly. She's helped you, you've helped her. And yeah, like, you guys are smashing at the minute. To be, again, I imagine that title win was, again, that was sort of like, was that match, I'm just curious now because you brought it up, was that match where you won the belts after you'd carpooled with Elijah and he put on the terrible music?
Yeah, he had what's coming to him.
Was it that? Was that the show?
Yeah, it was.
Oh my god, yeah, he definitely had what's coming to him then.
Yeah, man. Everybody else in the car was into it. I was the only one. I was just like, oh, I'll just keep my mouth shut then.
You went like, you fucking pay for this. This is it, like.
Like, I'll beat you up. Each new song that I didn't know, they're like, this is no fun. I can't sing along to this.
It's another kick. It's another punch, right? It's another.
Yeah, I want to sing along to stuff in the car.
Going back to Skye, I want to ask, like, just as we're sort of like winding down. I know it's getting on like time wise, but like,
that's fine.
Going back to Skye, I just want to ask about, like, again, just like that partnership, like in terms of like how much fun that's been for you, because again, like we talk about Kanji and Emerson in the ring, and like again, it's the same with you two. I feel like you get in the ring and it just looks like you're having just the best time.
Oh man, I love that woman so much. Also, like, this tag isn't just something that someone's put together. This is more than that. We are a team. We are a team. We speak every single day. We lift each other up. We support each other. We rant at each other. We forgive each other. Everything. Just a beautiful person inside and out.
Yeah.
I would not be still wrestling if it wasn't for Skye Smitson.
Really?
I've been ready to give in to the haters quite a lot.
Wow.
And she's really just brought me back from the brink every time. At the beginning of this year, I lost 5 family members in 5 months.
Shit.
From December onwards.
I'm sorry, that sucks.
Yeah, well, I didn't miss a beat in terms of shows and stuff, but the majority of how I got through that was because at each show I had someone there waiting for me, and I knew that it would be okay. And for at least half of those shows, it's Skye.
Yeah.
And she knew that as much as I can do it and I'm professional and safe in the ring and everything, when perhaps in the run-up to the show starting, I might be a little bit more distracted, or I might just need, I was a bit scatterbrained, I'd forget to eat, so she'd feed me. Or she'd be like, you're tired, here's a coffee so that you have a coffee on the way home. Yeah, she looks after me. I need to look after her more. She takes a lot of punishment for me.
But what a legend.
Especially in the ring.
What a legend to do it, though. Oh, Skye, that's amazing.
She's honestly just so wonderful. And I feel that she just doesn't get the recognition that she deserves. She's been around. She's one of the first female wrestlers that I ever saw wrestle.
Really?
Yeah, she won't remember this. I met her in the toilets of the Exeter Rougemont Hotel.
As you do, casual, yeah.
Yeah, where she wrestled for UPW. It's the same show that I saw Shakara at the bar, and I bought her a beer. Because I was like, I really liked your match, and I didn't want her to think I was a creep, so I bought her a beer. And Bobby Tyler was there. And who else was on that show? There were some great women on that show. But Skye was one of the first women that I saw wrestle in person, because we don't really have that down here.
Yeah.
So we didn't at the time. So that was incredible. And yeah, I just met her in the toilet. I was like, oh, hi. And this was when she was doing the face paint gimmick.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you wrestling today? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, all right.
Cool.
Okay, cool. And she probably doesn't remember it, but yeah, no, I've sort of been waiting for that friendship ever since, bless her.
And now it's happened.
Yeah, I adore her.
I love it.
Adore her. But yes, more love for Skye Smitson, more love, more accolades, more work, more main events. Did you know Skye Smitson has never wrestled Nina Samuels?
No.
That's what she told me.
Skye's never wrestled Nina.
When Nina turns around and goes, yes, we did at this point, because she's really good at remembering stuff like that. But as far as I know, they haven't wrestled.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yeah. There are loads of people that she needs to be wrestling. She's such an incredible wrestler.
When it was, was it last year? Last year. I think it was last year. When Sapphire won the, she won. I wanted it, I thought it was going to be Skye. I wanted Dan to push Skye. I thought Skye deserved it. I thought Skye had such a good year and really wanted her to win it, because I thought that title match with her and Nina would have been great. And again, Sapphire's done great. No disrespect to her, because the story they've told it's been fantastic. Honestly, it's been brilliant.
I think pretty much everyone on that roster is deserving.
Yeah.
But
Skye, I always think is so underrated. Like, for what she's given the scene.
She doesn't get pushed or remembered enough sometimes in conversations.
Absolutely.
And I think that is due to her sort of very giving. She's got a very giving, selfless nature, and she just. I want her to have more.
Yeah.
I want so much for her.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. 100%. 100%. Well, no, big up Skye. And that leads us on nicely to our final feature, because we've spoken about a lot of the good and the bad of the wrestling, the wrestlers in the locker room. But now we've got to know a bit about you and your food taste and stuff. I feel like we're going to get to know a bit more about that now, because our final feature is called Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler. And this is just about what makes you you, sort of thing.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to give you some scenarios and you let me know what comes to mind. So I feel like the first couple could be answers we've already said. Because the first one is, what's your favourite post-pinfall pig out?
Oh, do you know the thing that I want after a match, and it's my like little show day treat if it's been okayed by the PT? Is literally it has to be from a fountain, Has to be from a drinks fountain. Has to be as large as I can possibly get it. I'm upset we don't have supersized drinks anymore. Just full sugar Coca-Cola. Everyone calls it full fat, don't they? But there's no fat in it. But full fat then, as my mum would say. A massive full fat Coca-Cola.
Nice.
Ideally as big as my head, but you can't get that.
No. In America you can.
Oh, yeah. If I went there, I'd balloon.
But it's a good call. I like it. The next one's a classic. Like, what would your death row last meal be?
Oh my. No, I know. It would be for one of my grand's pasties, rest in peace. So she passed away a few years ago, and I have been craving the taste of those pasties ever since. Everyone will tell you their mum or their gran makes the best pasties. Yeah, I'd give a lot to have one of those.
It's that thing, isn't it, that you can't quite replicate. Like, no matter how much you try. It's
the slight bit of perfume and fags in the pastry. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the scent it brings, the atmosphere it brings. It's like the whole thing together.
You know, everyone's like, if you've grown up in Cornwall and you've gone over to your mate's house for pasties and you've had a few different pasties, you'll understand everyone's pastry is different. And when you get familiar, like if you could put a taste test of pasties in front of me, I'd be like, that's a Malcolm Barnecott's, that's a Warren's, that's my Grand's, and that one's from Aunt Avis's.
Wow, you're that good.
Some might say it's not good. It's probably bad for my health.
But some might say it's the greatest talent one could have.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Brilliant. The next one, we spoke about music taste. We spoke about Elijah's terrible music taste. We spoke about your two...
You can't put it like that.
No, I know. No, Elijah, you got good music taste. It's just like...
Just not on that day.
Yeah, on that particular day.
Oh, what?
We spoke about your love of Metallica, clearly. But the next one is the song that gets you the most hyped.
My entrance music that I use at Eve...
Yeah, it's a great one.
...is... You won't find it anywhere because it was a song written by a Cornish punk band called Honey, Sarah, Ellie, and Tyler, and it's called Feral, I believe.
Okay, it's a great song.
Yeah, and there's tons of energy to it. Originally, I thought I better not use it because it's a bit fast, and when you're a bit taller or a bit bigger, people say slower. But I think we style it out just right.
Yeah.
And it means a lot to me to have their music with me because I have some of my happiest memories of a previous life jamming out to them and just having a great time.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's wonderful because the only time that you guys are going to hear it, unless you own their CD that they released like back then, is when I come out.
Unique, yeah. Like one of a kind sort of thing. Exactly. I love that. It's a great song. I was wondering because I'd never seen it anywhere or seen anyone talk about it. But it is a banger.
Otherwise, before I was using one by Rival Sons called Do Your Worst.
Another great band.
That one's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sort of heard that and I went, the same day that I discovered Rival Sons for myself, I was just like, that song.
Yeah.
So before that, I used a bit of Atreyu. Love Atreyu
as well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to use their song Honor.
Nice.
Which was good. That was Baby Taylor.
Yeah.
Trying out music for the first time.
That's a good place to start. Again, you're talking my language here. Like metal, like the cross between pop punk and metal for me is basically everything I listen to.
100%. 100%. Nothing wrong with it.
So
but
you go Metallica, where you are Metallica, I have Iron Maiden. Maiden are my Metallica, essentially. I feel like that's the split, isn't it? I feel like in the metal community as well, it's your team Metallica or your team Maiden.
No, I disagree.
Everyone I speak to is that. Everyone's like, oh no, I don't like Maiden, but I like Metallica, or the other way around.
No, I love both. And if you can't work out how to love both, you're worse.
Exactly.
Put your life out.
Exactly.
They're two of the greatest bands on the earth.
Yeah, well said. Well said.
And the thing is Iron Maiden's, but both of them, they've got such a massive back catalogue that you'll find something you like.
Yeah, it's impossible not to.
I guarantee there'll be at least one song that you like.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it.
Anyone who says differently, I ain't got time for you.
No, yeah, they're not even worth talking to. Not even worth it.
You haven't tried hard enough. But but no, actually the most hyped I've been before a match was before that War Games match.
Yeah.
When they played War Pigs. Because I love that song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
I anyone who has stood near to the curtain, I'm back behind the curtain just shouting it. I was shouting the whole song. I was like, oh, this is sick. I was so pumped. I was like, we're going to war today. Yeah, honestly.
And it was a good match. It was a great match as well. Like, that must have been a cool experience overall. Again, like the whole vibe of it.
Yes. Yeah. It was. I've never been in a cage before. So it was really cool experience.
I feel like I spoke to Nightshade and ZZ as well. We had ZZ on the podcast, but I spoke to Nightshade as well on Twitter about that before, and like they were both worried for the exact same reason. I was like, I'm fairly sure I'd never seen any of you in a cage. I feel like it's first time for everyone.
Yeah. Now that I've been in there once.
Want more? You want more of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say you guys pulled it off well, because like my initial concern with that, I was like, I don't know how all 8 of them are going to fit in that ring and still have a good match. Like,
yeah, it's 16-footer, like not the biggest.
Yeah.
That cage is a really it's a cage that, like, if you ask around the right people, you can just be like, oh, I think we've got this person's cage. Have you worked in that one before?
Yeah.
What was that like? Yeah. How did you find
Tell me. Yeah.
Like, yeah, because there's only so many cages in the country, right?
Yeah.
So you can, if you're, like, my research was, whose cage is it? Who's worked in that cage before? Who can I? And it turned out that
it was Kapow's cage, right? I think it was Kapow's.
Well, both of my coaches. Well, the thing is, it didn't always belong to them.
Oh.
So you can track the history back, and everyone always knows who owned which ring and which equipment when. So look, if you're around, like, people have been around long enough.
Yeah.
Luckily, both of my coaches have worked in that cage before. So
right. Nice. Yeah, that's
I was
good.
just like, oh yeah, I think I worked in that cage back in 2016. So yeah, if it's that cage, then it's, and then they'll be like, and then they can compare cages.
Yeah.
You just think, what is this life?
But it was a great match. It was a lot of fun. It was great to see you guys all in it. I think you absolutely smashed it. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was
shout out, by the way, shout out to Country Big Josh Knott, who is a coach of mine, who has been wrestling for 15 years, is still under the age of 30, and is a very underappreciated, wonderful talent. He's got that, like, Stan Hansen vibe.
Nice.
I don't think we have that in the UK properly enough, and I'd love to see him elsewhere. He was my very first tag team partner. So
I didn't know that.
Everything that you see me do in the ring, I would say 90% of what I do is something that I've sat and worked out with him.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
he's been there since the beginning. He found me throwing up in a pool of sweat on the floor at a training school that he was visiting for the day, and was just like, are you okay? And I was like, I have to do this or I'm not allowed to wrestle. And it was like horrific cardio, which, we should probably all do, but I wasn't in a great way. And he was just like, right, I'm going to come back next week and I'm just going to help you.
I love that.
Yeah, he's a wonderful, wonderful soul. Gives so much. Like, if you speak to loads of people in the southwestern Wales about who their first match was with, especially like guys, it's usually with him. People have a lot of their formative matches with him because he's just trusted. Trained by Joel Redman, obviously. So
I love that. And again, like, away from these questions, it sounds like you mentioned it a few times with him with Skye as well, and like a few other times. Like, it just seems like you've had this really supportive environment around you, like, throughout your career. That's like, it's sort of like part of the reason that you're still here in terms of like just pushing you through.
It's the reason I'm still here in life.
Wow.
Genuinely, is because these people are in my life. I
love that. I love that. Big up everyone.
I owe everything to them.
Big up everyone you mentioned. That's huge. I love that. Back on the next one's movies. It's the movie you'd show the locker room.
Oh man, which locker room?
Any locker room.
Let's go for the Lion's Den training school.
Okay.
I know that vibe. It's very like muscly men in crop tops, high-fiving on the sand, so it'd probably be Rocky.
Nice.
We'll probably watch Rocky. Yeah. If we're at the Lion's Den, we have a movie night, we'll watch Rocky. Everyone will try and do the training dances and stuff together. If it's, what was that, like Rocky 2?
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
But probably that. If it was the Eve locker room, oh man, I don't know.
That's a more interesting one, yeah.
That's a more interesting one because half of them are going to want to just snuggle down, half of them are going to want to have a riotous sing-along.
Yeah.
So maybe the Barbie movie?
Yeah, a bit of both.
That sound a bit generic, but I think that's because we expected Barbie to be one thing and actually it was something else that was much better.
Yeah.
Or like a Disney film.
Yeah, something where you can chill, but it's got a couple of songs in there where you can like...
Yeah, it would have to be something with songs.
You know what? I don't know, like, again, I feel like not enough people... This is like the underappreciated TV show, I think, in my mind. You know Bob's Burgers?
Yes.
Have you seen the Bob's Burgers movie?
I haven't.
You need to watch the Bob's Burgers movie.
Where can I watch that?
Oh, it's on Disney Plus.
Oh, right, well, sorted.
Yeah. No,
I'm
guarantee,
watching Ugly Betty at the moment.
If you like Bob's Burgers, give it a watch because it's great. It's like, it's super quaint, like, not quaint. Like, it's like a good film where, like, shit happens and you're invested. But, like, it's just really wholesome. There's a few really good songs in there. Like, it's just a great watch. Like, it's a proper comfort movie for me and my partner.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd recommend that, giving that a watch if you can.
Nice.
The next one's a throwback because it's your first job.
My first job was working at an arcade.
Classic.
Next to the beach. I was behind the counter, and we had snacks and drinks and slushies and fountain drinks and ice creams and pick a mix, and I would do the change as well.
Okay.
And because it was a family business, I was like 12, because it's legal to do that.
Family.
Child labour if you're related. But what I really wanted was to save money for everything else that kids want next to the seaside. I wanted to save money for a hair braid, a henna tattoo, and some fudge. So those were my goals in life.
I think when you're 12, those are good goals to have.
Oh man, I love arcades as well. Like, it's such a big thing for me. So our arcade actually burnt down, and it was such a shame because we had collector's items in there. Like, we had the Star Wars arcade in there with full artwork in pristine condition.
Oh my god!
We had a Kiss pinball machine. Like,
that's cool as shit.
My granddad had built up this collection of machines where he'd be like, nah, don't replace it with a new one. It'll be all right. And unintentionally had kept hold of the things that then became collector's items because he had just had them from when they were new.
Oh my god.
My dad had his own little machine in there as a moneymaker when he was a kid, that he'd bought a Frogger machine, because we're talking like, you know, the 70s. And he had invested in like cool old machines. We had like old Wurlitzer jukebox. It was very cool.
That's
very
so cool. Oh, I love that.
I remember we had like the original Daytona, the original Time Crisis, House of the Dead.
That's
we had
awesome.
a Dirty Harry pinball machine where the thing was a gun.
Oh, I love it. I mean, again, like I know 12 is like too young to really be working, but like as a first job, that's a pretty sweet first job. That you could be a lot worse.
It was so cool. Yeah. And I worked that job up until I was old enough to get other jobs, and then I went back to it because I was like, nah.
Because you're like, nothing beats this, yeah.
Yeah, I did like coffee and sandwich making. I worked on like a deli counter for a while, but it was like...
It's not the same.
It was next to the beach, and it was just posh people being snotty.
Right.
So I was just there like, sod ya, and left that job. So
love it. No, I love that.
I was 14 and over it, you know.
Yeah, past that at that stage. Fuck it, yeah. Brilliant. The next one gets a little deep because it's your greatest fear.
Oh. Greatest fear in what?
In anything.
Huh.
You don't have to reveal too much if you don't want to, though. It doesn't have to be like anything you don't want to say.
Outside of all of the regular fears people have. Greatest fear. My greatest fear would be... like whatever I do in life, I eventually want to end up back in Cornwall. My fear would be not ending up there.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going there today. I've got to run a bunch of errands, but because I'm not there right now, but I am sort of like a couple of hours away. So yeah. No, I need to get back there.
Yeah.
I'm okay to not be there for now, but I need to. In my head, I've told myself that's where you're ending up. That's where you're like when you're retired. That's where you're going.
No, I get that. I love that. I think that's important as well, isn't it? It's like that comfort as well of like, you know, you want it to sort of like end in the place you're happiest, the place you're most comfortable.
100%. 100%. I think people are like, oh, she's so obsessed with Cornwall and being from Cornwall. And it's kind of like, well, if you were from there, you'd get it.
I think like we said, like, I don't remember if we were recording or not when we mentioned it, but like, it's when there are those certain places in the UK, like Cornwall, like Liverpool, I feel as well, that are like sort of a bit separate from the UK, like as a whole. And like, so you have that like community feel there. It feels like a community all your own.
Yeah, well, you know, Cornwall has protected minority status within Europe since 2014, and we have our own flag, we have our own language. So if anyone needs to know, it's a bit like Welsh. Many hundreds of years ago, we were known as the Southern Kingdom of Wales. We just got cut off as more got invaded. But we were just more killed off and subjugated than the Welsh, which is why we're sort of not considered our own country anymore.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm not going to get into the militant side of it. I just enjoy being from Cornwall. Yeah. And that is my identity. I have a lot of people trying to be like, you're English. I'm like, well, I'm British. No, you're English. I was like, well, you know, you can make any kind of argument where you say legally it's this or on paper it's that. I'm Cornish. Yeah,
at your heart, that's what you are.
I'm Cornish, go fuck yourself.
Love it, there we go. That's the new slogan, that's the new motto for Cornwall. We're Cornish, go fuck yourself.
No, I need to be nicer. I like holidaymakers. Please come down and boost our economy. But be nice about it.
Yeah, well said.
Thank you.
Love it. The next one's the only wrestling one on the list. It's your favourite match stipulation. And I'll let you say, like, you can say two if you want. It can be like to be in and to watch if they're different.
This is going to sound really lame. Do you know what I really like? Just a really good, solid match.
Yeah, singles, no stipulation, easy.
Singles or tag.
Yeah.
Solid match.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like singles, we've had people say singles before, and I totally agree, because like singles is, and again, it sounds bland when I say it, but I don't mean it bland, because singles is like the vanilla ice cream of matches, right? It's the thing you base everything else around.
It is if it's not done well, yeah.
But yeah, and like it can be bad if it's not done well, but like a really good vanilla ice cream, just like a really good singles match, is like just what you want, really.
What we seem to have forgotten is that you need a good, I'm going to sound like an old man, okay? So I very much was taught and brought into wrestling by a lot of people who have a lot of respect for the British style of wrestling and where it's come from, and very much sort of working with, you know, the Welsh wrestling and the All Stars, like those sorts of companies. And I think that shows should start with a very good, some of your best wrestlers, two of your best wrestlers in the ring. They set up a match that reminds people what wrestling is.
Yeah.
These are the rules. This is how it works. And by the way, this is actually one of the best matches you're going to see tonight.
Yeah.
You just don't realise it because there's not gimmick, right? And I think that anyone who starts off a show well is an absolute hero. You see some incredible people who've had like 15, 20 years in the business will start a show with an absolute banger.
Yeah.
One of my favourite show starts, by the way, was a match between Charlie Sterling and Joel Redman, one of the best matches I've ever seen live, and no one could follow it. It was the best starter of a show.
And then the promoter was like, fuck, it's all downhill after this.
It was one of my favourite moments in wrestling. It was great.
Yeah.
You should probably ask Joel about that, actually. You should talk to Joel.
I've wanted to have Joel on the podcast for a while. I do need to get around to that.
Pester him. He's fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, you know,
yeah,
you sort of, you need that action match.
Yeah,
it's like Dean Allmark. I remember when I worked for All Star, I think he was on first, and it was just there like, right, you're on first. I want action. Yeah, just get them started.
Get the crowd into it. That's the thing. You want the crowd into it, like hyped for the rest of the show. That's the match you want.
I really enjoy an opening match because as a fan, for me, it's the moment where I buy into the show. When I buy the ticket isn't necessarily when I buy into it. I'm sat there, I'm nervous. Do I want to make noise for you? I'm on the fence. You come out and give me an absolute show of a lifetime, then that I will give everything I have to the rest of the show. I'll shout, I'll scream, I'll chant, I'll clap. That's what makes a show.
Absolutely.
For me. You know, you have to really trust that opening match.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. We only got a couple more questions left of this feature. The next one, I feel like I know what you're going to say for this, because it's your favourite place in the world.
My favourite place in the world is Polzeath in Cornwall.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about there specifically?
That is where I'm from. The air feels different. It feels the difference between tap water and bottled water.
Oh, like, yeah.
When you breathe it, it's sweet and salty and syrupy and wonderful. And there's this feeling, so as you do the drive, if you're going the correct way in, because there's one road, so you can come in one way or the other. But if you're coming in the right way, which is the way I always go in, which is not from my auntie's house, it's from Wadebridge, and you come in and you turn the corner at the top right by my granddad's house. Sorry, my grandfather. I was using the English.
You were using English, yeah. My
grandfather. We come round the side and suddenly this vista of the beach and the headland opens up and you just take a deep breath and you go, God, that's good.
It must be pain.
On the other side, if you drive past the oyster catcher, you come up over the hill and it opens up as well, and that's all right. But I like the one around the corner. So
it must be pain for you coming to London, like in terms of, again, like the views, the air quality, like all of those things. That must be like...
If I spend too much time in London, I get really ill.
Yeah.
Every time I've gone on the underground, I've got unwell.
Yeah.
Because I've got really privileged lungs.
They've had it too good.
Yeah. Look at this privilege right here. This clean air I'd be having. Also, the pollen count. The pollen count in London is insane. I was like, how have you got pollen? You got no plants.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it either. I'm like, how? Like like we spoke, didn't we, before we started recording about my allergies like kicking off, and I'm like, how? There's nothing round here. Where are they coming from?
Allergies? Have I got conjunctivitis? Yeah. Nobody knows.
It's always a mystery. But that brings us on to the final one of the feature, and it's your dream holiday destination.
Well, I'm going to one. So I've wanted to go to Japan since I was 12.
Yeah, that's the one we get a lot. And you're doing it. At the time this goes out, you might already be there. You might have started.
Yeah. Insane. Love that. Do you know, my family, because we're in the holiday trade, we look at everybody else having holidays. So I think we've had 2 proper family holidays ever that have been abroad. And every single time we've gone to Inglewood in Florida.
Okay.
And we've stayed in a house on the rotunda there. And you've got like armadillos and gators walking past your house every morning.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like there are like turtles or terrapins in the water and stuff. And you can go out and do tours where you search for manatees and you can, watch the manatees and stuff like that. And I think I would like to go there and have one last family holiday because none of us have got kids yet. And I'm the eldest.
Before it all kicks off, yeah.
We can still do one last proper family holiday. So I'd like to go back to Florida.
Yeah, I love that.
The Florida Keys and all of that, like Punta Gorda and
Yeah, I love that. That's a good choice. Yeah. Well, that brings the end to that feature and nearly to the end of the podcast. I've only got one more question for you, LA Taylor. But it's not a question that's been left by me. It's a question that's been left by our previous guest, because we have a tradition here where our last guest leaves a question for our next guest without any context of who they're leaving it for. So your one is actually is pretty simple. I think you'll be able to guess who left you this question, especially if you've been watching a certain TV show over the last few months. Because the question you've been left is, which wrestler would make the best gladiator?
I had lots of kids saying they thought I was on Gladiators.
There's one that looks like I wouldn't say it looks like you. I'd say that she looks like a little like you.
She's jacked.
She's
she's very beautiful physique, wonderful, well done. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know who would make the best gladiator. Levi Muir.
Yes, Levi would be great. Oh my god, he'd destroy everyone.
Yes.
That was my problem with the whole series. Like, I don't know if you watched it. My problem with Gladiators this time around was like, yeah, they're all jacked and stuff, but I feel like the wrestlers would take him down more.
Do you know what the problem is with Gladiators, right? And the reason why I only watched like 1.5 episodes, no bad guys.
There's one bad guy.
What this needs, but it's not enough. What this needs is a villain. Well, everyone's like, oh, well done, you did really well. I'm like, no, kick him in.
Yeah. There's one bad guy who was like...
you to have a nice sporting competition.
Yeah.
If I wanted a sporting competition, I wouldn't be watching Gladiators.
Yeah.
I want to see you pummel the crap out of someone.
Yeah. And then be like, fuck you. Well, not fuck you, because it's like crime.
We're just sat here at home going,
yeah.
They're being all nice.
Yeah, I get you on that.
I want the modern day Wolfman.
Yeah, I get you with that. Like, they've got Legend this year, like, for this one, and like, he's alright, he's a decent enough heel, but like, not the one you want, you know what I mean? Not like a wolf. Like... I need more. Yeah.
One is not enough.
Hopefully next season they bring it on.
It's not enough to be mean with one person.
Must be mean with everyone.
Everyone be mean.
Yeah. No, I love it.
The women are too nice. I think women are sometimes too scared to get real heat.
Yeah.
But they're not wrestlers. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just be a villain.
Yeah.
Lean into it. Stand out.
Yeah. If
you look really great and you're nice, guess what? You're just like everybody else.
The villains are the ones you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's a great answer. It's a great answer. And Levi would be a villain for sure. Like, Levi would be brilliant.
Oh man, yeah.
We had him on the podcast.
He would be a villain, but I do adore him. We did a couple tours of the camps together. And what a wonderful human being.
Oh, he's great, isn't he? He's great. We had him on the podcast. We had a little, like, I want to stress, it's like kayfabe beef with him over Twitter. And so we had him on the podcast, and he did threaten to like kill me, like legit murder me. And I was terrified.
Man.
But what a guy. He's a great guy. And terrifying.
He is like the slipperiest person in the ring as well.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I was trying to like grab him to eat him up, and I was like, how are you doing that?
Yeah, he does it well, doesn't he? He knows what works. He knows how to get around it.
Tricksy devil.
Brilliant. Well, that does bring an end to the recording. LA Taylor, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me for as long as you have as well. I really appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
I'm glad. That means a lot. Our final word always goes to our guest. Again, another tradition we've got here on the podcast is that our guest has the last word. And so I'm asking you now, if anyone sees you on a match card, on social media, on a poster, Eve, in Japan, in anywhere else in the country, at Progress, at Resurgence, anywhere else you might be wrestling, if anyone sees LA Taylor on a match card near them and comes to check you out, why is LA Taylor going to steal the show?
There's no one that looks like me right now. There's no one on that card that is going to do what I do. You have to see it for yourself.